Welcome to Roland's computer page, and what we are doing is we are trying to find some information in an Excel spreadsheet. So what we want to do is we want to have an input box that will ask a student's name or something like that and their favorite color. So what we have here is we have some information here already in a sheet. We've got their first names, we've got their surnames, and we've got a color associated with them. If we go to our VBA editor, we can open up a form, and we'll create a form called Find Name. Now let's work out how we're going to do this. What we want to do is we want to have a form that inputs a name, and we're going to ask what is the student name. So let's double click on this, and what we want to do is we want to declare some variables. We're actually going to declare 4 variables. Those 4 variables are dim first name as string, dim surname as string, dim color as string, and dim row counter as integer. So we need an input box. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create an input box that will be associated with the first name variable. So first name equals input box, and enter your first name of the person you wish to find here. We then immediately want to have a second input box for the surname. So let's click on there. Surname equals input box, enter the surname of the person that you wish to find. So this creates 2 variables which we are going to be using. Now what we're going to do is once the student what we are doing here is we're going to have them input a first name, then input a surname. So to input a first name, we're going to have it compare to the first name over here, and if it finds the first name, then it's going to compare the surname, and if it finds there, then it's going to put a message box saying that that particular person has a particular color. So let's see how we do this. We're going to start with for row counter equals 1 to 11. The reason we're going from 1 to 11 is we're going down to the 11th cell, and you can see that that is the furthest cell down. I could have chosen to do an Excel up thing here and had a whole lot more information, but 1 to 11 is fine. Immediately after you do a for loop, we need to put a next, so it's a for next. All our processing will now go in here between the row counter and the for next loop. So what we're going to do now is we're going to ask the question, well, if the first name dot value, if the first name that is being input is the same as whatever this information is here, then we're going to do something else. The way we do that is we go if the first name is equal to worksheets sheet 1 cells row counter, which goes from 1 to 11, comma 1, that means the first value, dot value, then do something. And we need to immediately down here put end if. So if that actually happens, then we want to actually do another if statement. We want to check if the surname is right. So we do that like this. If surname equals worksheets sheet 1 cells row counter, so the same row counter, comma 2 value, then, and again we need to put an end if immediately. So then after that we actually want to say, well, if this is the case, if the first name is right and if the surname is right, then we actually want to talk about the color. So we go color is equal to worksheets sheet 1 cells row counter, which is the same as that, but the column is number 3, 1, 2, 3, dot value. And then we want to actually put a message box that tells us that particular one. So we'll put a message box that actually says message box, first name, ampersand, space, ampersand, surname, ampersand, space and likes, ampersand, and the colour, full stop. So, and then having done that, we actually want to exit the sub. So we put an exit sub in here, and that's going to mean that if it is the first name and the surname, we're going to exit the sub after we've done a message box. But what happens if it is not that at all? If we can't find it at all? If we can't find it, then we need to actually go right down the bottom here, and we want to put in a message box that says the name and the first name and the surname, which were the input boxes, was not found. Okay, so let's run this and see what happens. Find a name, input box, we'll go Alice, and we'll go Hall, press OK, and you can see that it says Alice Hall likes blue. Alice Hall likes blue. We could do that again with, say, Julius Rodriguez, and we press it again, and Julius Rodriguez likes red. We can see that that is correct. What if I did a name that wasn't here? Matthew John. The name Matthew John was not found.